Good morning. Welcome to a lovely sunny Penzance on our lunch with the DCLI lads in the Lugger Hotel. St Michael's Mount in the foreground.
Usually. Yeah. Speak up, Murray.
Start with the top table, and then this table goes down with the bottom.
And Stacey never smoked one she's mentioned it all the time. She's like that. But they usually Stacey the second. I could do her face per night.
You're the run to the litter.
And the dogs can run around.
Oh yeah, the
That's it. That's
Custard. Another apple crumble.
custard. Cream and tea. 3. And we, our 3 girls, and Dad, eat the whole lot. One and cream cornflakes.
all our family. We used to, before COVID, we haven't done so since. We had to go out to see family California and Brussels. We've got the American family coming over for Christmas, which is lovely. And some that was lovely. Very good. You're good? Has everyone got enough to eat here? Our parents went. That was my last lot.
No, only for...
Well, next door, come back. Yes, take it away. This will have to be your last. What will your last seating in this one?
Oh yeah,
Or maybe your sister will sit there.
His Majesty the King.
Here.
Right, raise your glasses, stand up please. Thank you. West Cornwall Light Energy Association. Cheers. Right. Speak up, Aaron.
Jeremy noted needs no introduction to any of us, but kindly offered to say a few words. Jeremy, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me at the end of the room?
Oh, yeah.
I notice there are rather more ladies here than gentlemen, which says something for the attractiveness or the pulling power it used to be called of the light infantry. I realise I'm speaking in substitute for Peter. He was my close friend and a very good officer and a wonderful comrade. Hence the gathering today, which, although other people have contributed, Peter was your linchpin. I remember Peter from my army days when, after dinner nights, which was a duty for junior officers, you had to eat in on a Tuesday night. The band would play and all the rest of it, but I began to feel very often that there was something else we wanted to do on the Tuesday night, and games where after dinner took place in the ante-room. I remember one game particularly, which was called cockfighting, which where you sat on the shoulders of another officer and you wrestled, and the person who succeeded would be the winner. Then you had teams. Well, unfortunately for me, or probably fortunately I suppose, I was asked by Peter to sit on his shoulders. Well, Peter was never off a rugby pitch in his view. He didn't wrestle, he knocked people down. And I remember charging across the ante-room, my head up amongst the chandelier, and he was knocking people over at great risk to me as I hung on for dear life. I noticed at the funeral there were several green berries there, but rather more cauliflower ears and broken noses. But as the vicar said at that funeral, if you were there, it was remarkable that there were a full church for a 90-year-old. Usually as we get to that area, our friends have passed on. I think I also should mention that this wouldn't be happening today if it wasn't for Barry. I go back a long way with Barry. He was the CO's driver in A Company when I came up from Jamaica. And he drove the two giants of the light infantry, Toots Williams, who walked from a prisoner of war camp 400 miles and got back to the British lines. You will obviously have recollections of, I'm sure, many happy times. He was a very nice man. And also Tony Marsh, who had more medals than I can remember, but there were DSOs, MCs and Croix de Guerres, and he again was a very nice man, a survivor from the first light infantry, which was wiped out in North Africa, and he wound up in the SAS solely because there was no battalion to go to, and had a remarkable career. I think also, Barry, you were remembered by Brigadier Williams. Yes, Gage? Gage said his reputation went to the sky high as an 8-year-old, he was driven to school by Barry in an army vehicle, and his reputation was absolutely vague. And he sends this and asked me to remind you of those days.
Thank you.
There are also, I need to say to Barry, I keep thinking your Christian name is not Michael, it's Nobby. I remember Nobby as a very fit, athletic, and very smart soldier. Sometimes he was a rifleman, and sometimes a corporal. In between, he was immaculate on drill, and very good company. Great fun, and I'm very happy to see him here again today. We have happy memories together, but then his wife, I gather, has been a tower of strength raising money for these events. And although I've not met Mary before, she put up with quite a problem, I should imagine, with Nobby. But anyway, I'm sure that you all know what Mary has done. There then leaves me to remind you of Keith, who's filming this at this very moment. Now, Keith is probably the nearest thing you'll get to royalty. He went to Government House when the governor was there with his blooms and his landau and pair and butlers and all the rest of it. And Keith was a great asset to the regiment because we knew what was going on. And those days in Bermuda, there was a very smart company, a very well-drilled company, which took great pride in what it did. Nobody will remember this, that the drill was immaculate. And we had to do tattoos, we do 2 military tattoos. There were Government House parties and all the rest of it. But it wasn't just the flesh pots of the Caribbean we were enjoying, because when we left, the governor went to spend a penny after dinner at Government House. And he and the ADC and one of the guests went out, and they were standing behind the bushes doing what men do after a lengthy dinner. And somebody got in and shot 3 shots. The ADC, the governor, and this guest was killed. A remarkable feat of shooting, but one that marked that when that company, we closed the garrison at Prospect, it showed that we were needed. And Keith will remember, as Keith was very much part of Government House. I went to see Gage Williams, actually, just before, and I got a copy of the Bugle, which I hadn't seen for some time. Both my sons served in the light infantry, and what surprised me more than anything was, on page 2, there is a roll of honour. I think it's page 2, and maybe before page 2. And there are over 60-odd people who have died since 2007, who actually were rifles, as we are now called, not light infantry. It starts with the Iraq War and goes on to Afghanistan. And although we are enjoying a festive occasion now, one was reminded that this was a very important unit which was a major part of the British Army. Both my sons served with the light infantry. My eldest, or I should say our eldest son, was in Iraq. But he wasn't with the light infantry there. He was actually with Arab troops at the time. I don't think they did any fighting, but they were very important politically. I think that we remember we're meeting for the last time, and why we exist as light infantry survivors, or the fellowship of what type, is because we were a very special unit. I went on regiments from the West Indies to Osnabrück. I don't know if any of you were in Osnabrück. Well, we were brigaded with the King's Liverpool and the Gloucesters. And while we were in Senegal with those two regiments on exercise, there was a frightful fight between the King's Liverpool and the Gloucesters. A boy was killed, 6 were injured. But the thing that stood out was not a single member of the light infantry was involved. And that says something for the sense, but also the fellowship. Who would want to be amalgamated with the other 2 regiments? I hope there's nobody here who has connections. And we've been very privileged, actually, to come from Cornwall, to have our time in the army with friends. We were a very good unit, an exceptional unit. And as such, I think you should take great pride in the fact that you were part of that unit. I don't think I can say much more other than to say the bugler is about to sound no parades. I think there ought to be something rather else we could think of, because it's a very sad moment. This has not been happening again. And I'm sure when that goes, you will all hopefully still keep in contact. But anyway, thank you for asking my wife and I. We've enjoyed your company, in particular those that I was privileged to serve with, and I wish you well for the future.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. I'd like to add a few words, if I may. When I last spoke to Peter Michel, he realised that he would not be well enough to be with us today. And he said he would write a few words which he would like me to read out on his behalf. Unfortunately, he died before he was able to do this. But I do know how much he valued our association. He was particularly pleased that we included wives as members, and that several of you continued to remain as members after the deaths of your husbands. He was also pleased that former RAF members joined us as guests, later becoming associate members after the local branch of the Royal Air Force Association closed. Mike Fiddle has kindly invited us in the new year to join the luncheons which he holds with the former Trail branch members. So if anybody would like to do that, Mark or myself. And if we have any funds left over after today's, we'll pass it over to the Trail branch to help support them. Michelle was a founder member of the association 40 years ago, as well as being our president. And it's a great shame he wasn't here today, but it's been a delight to have Jeremy here and Caroline. Thank you very much. Don't rush to get away. We're now going to have no more praise today, played by Graham, and after that we'll sort of gradually drift away, but don't feel in any rush to do so. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thanks, Barry.
Real action shot that is of you.
Yeah.
Away, brave boys, to double in jig, the girls to kiss the whiskey swig, and each as merry as a grig, sing one and all. But he that will not with us jog shall kiss no girls and drink no grog, for that he is a sorry dog, sing one and all.
And let the bells of Dublin ring, the Cornish boys are come to sing, we're Irish lads, God save the King, sing one and all.
To those who by their colours stand, great crowds shall shout throughout the land. There goes True Blue and Hark, the band plays one and all. But they who are not of good heart and basely from their comrades part shall have their oats march in a cart, hoot one and all.
And let the bells of Dublin ring, the Cornish boys are come to sing, we're Irish lads, God save the King, sing one and all.
But see the transport crowd the strand, we'll soon shall find an Irish land, there in Gabrag go hand in hand with one and all. As for the French and foreign foes, we'll twine the shamrock with the rose, and pull old Boney by the nose, pull one and all.
And let the bells of Dublin ring, the Cornish boys are come to sing, we're Irish lads, God save the King, sing one and all.
But when the din of war is o'er, our services required no more, we'll hail again our native shore with one and all. And then the Cornish volunteers shall meet kind welcome, hearty cheer, plenty of beef and good strong beer, drink one and all. And let the bells of Bodmin ring, the Cornish Irish lads shall sing, drink to their sweethearts and their king, drink